So the tour is called Don't Call It a Comeback.
Yes.
But, I mean, it kind of is. In a few ways, kind of is a comeback.
Sure. It is whatever you say it is, really.
Cool.
You know?
So, like, I mean, Dave's back in the band. You came back from challenges. Do you guys just don't view it that way? Why did you name the tour Don't Call It a Comeback?
Well, because everyone's just calling everything a comeback right now. We don't really take these things too seriously. I guess it's just, again, we didn't really think of it. It was just a funny title that came up, and we thought we'll go with it, sort of making fun of the fact that everyone's calling it a comeback.
So what am I fighting for? Everything back and more. And I'm not gonna let this go. I'm ready to settle the score. Get ready, 'cause this is war.
The record is very much about, not the comeback, but what you came back from.
Mm-hmm.
But you've described, so that's a dark time, but you've described the record, it's an optimistic
I would
album.
say it's optimistic, yeah.
And how did you kind of come to that? How did you take such a negative situation and turn it into a positive album?
Well, because I came out okay in the end, and even though there were some dark times and there were some hard times, and I sing about those things, ultimately I come out better for it in the end, and the album, I think, reflects that lyrically. I feel like, especially by the end of it, I mean, the whole record was written in chronological order. Like the track listing is each song that I wrote from the beginning, right when I got to the hospital, to right before we went out on tour. So the last song really wraps up the whole thing of, I've had this long journey and it's been really hard. I've gotten to this point and I feel better than ever, but still there's this whole new world out there that I'm about to jump into that I'm still a little unsure of, which is like this whole world, going out on tour, being out in public, putting out music for everybody. You have to be ready for that, and you have to be spiritually grounded to deal with those kinds of things, because there's going to be a lot of people that love it and there's going to be a lot of people that hate it too, and you have to be ready for that kind of stuff. And I wasn't sure if I was, but I felt like I was, and I am. I know that I am now, but when I was at the time of writing, all I had at that time was to just be optimistic.
I'm afraid I believe in nothing. No hopes or dreams, you could have left me dead naive. And not to mention I'm losing count of all my blessings.
That's really actually interesting that it was written in the order that it appears on the album. And War is about halfway down.
It's about halfway, yeah.
So that's kind of like the turning point almost.
It definitely was, yeah. It was, I wrote those lyrics at a time when I was easily going to fall off the wagon and just say, this has been so long. It's been over a year now. I'm not getting any better. I can't walk. My nerve damage in my feet is so bad that I can't stand for more than 2 minutes. And I just thought I was never going to get better. The doctors didn't know if I was going to get better, and I just thought, this is no way to live. I'd rather just drink the rest of my life away and at least enjoy it. And I just thought, I had these lyrics that just sort of appeared of what am I fighting for? Well, everything back and more. And I knew that to get there, I had to fight harder and stay the course, really. And it was sort of the moment where I realized I have to have that thing of blind faith and just believe in it, that if I work hard, it'll get better, and it did. I don't like to write music that's so direct and that I'm like writing a diary, you know what I mean? It's just, those are my feelings, and I'm not really trying to convey a message, really. That's just the way my thoughts come out on paper.
With all that I've done, it's too late. I can't take back all that I have become. So all that I'm trying to say.
When I first started writing the record, I was putting out movies and just having the sound off, and I was just writing riffs and ideas to, say, Tim Burton movies and Quentin Tarantino movies. So I was jokingly calling it, well, I guess I'm writing a hardcore punk record at this point.
It's clever. I like that. When I read that, I had to laugh.
Yeah.
So when I read that, I went back and I listened to some of the album. I heard Breaking the Chain, and for some reason, don't know why, I thought Edward Scissorhands.
Okay.
Is that a fair assessment, or?
I mean, Edward Scissorhands was one that would definitely influenced a lot. Same with Beetlejuice, but I also had like Mars Attacks, Inglourious Bastards, Kill Bill, 12 Monkeys. They were all sort of like kind of on repeat, in a rotation.
So there's not really like individual songs that were like, this is this movie? It was kind of...
It was a bit, I would mix them up, and I would get parts of songs out of them.
So all that I'm trying to say, I'm looking for a better way. But some days it just gets so hard, and I don't want to slip away. So what am I fighting for?
But yeah, so on this album, there's actually some metal-y riffs going on. Like we've got, the solos in "Goddamn I'm Dead Again." It's just like that song's like just shred city, and then the middle riff in "Breaking the Chain." And it sort of, I felt kind of like the last couple albums maybe didn't have that quite as much. Where did that come from?
I guess I was just sort of ready for it to be back, whatever comes out, comes out. I remember when that song "Breaking the Chain" came about, I had most of the song fully written, and I just didn't have that middle section and that metal riff part. And I was working in the studio with somebody else, this other producer friend of mine, and his name's Mike Green. And I'm saying, I really want to put this metal riff in this song. He was helping me with some of the string stuff that's in that song. I said, I just need a metal riff. And then he started playing something. He said, what about this? I was like, that's perfect. Can I use that?
And you did.
And we did. So we threw that in there. And then, of course, Dave played it. And the way he plays it is he's just got that, the way he plays, it just sounds cool.
You just got that metal edge going on somewhere.
Yeah.
And as far as 13 Voices, any favorites, whether to play live or
Yeah, they're all different. I really love to listen to the very last song on the record, "Twisted by Design," which is that song I was telling you about. I feel like it's about I've come this far, but there's still so much further to go. But I'm really optimistic about it. I like listening to that song, but I like playing the song 13 Voices because there's a lot of parts in it. And it's pretty fast, pretty fun. I don't know, it's enjoyable to play.